Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Supergirl Season 6, Episode 13, The Gauntlet. I am very stressed. Nixley is a stressful villain to be facing. She knows where the Totem of Courage is now, I think. So I guess that's what this episode is going to be about, and The Gauntlet kind of sounds like that-ish, I don't know. Nixley is terrifying. Kelly is the Guardian. Lena has her magic book. What is going on? I am stressed. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. And I would say though, if you are going to sign up to my Patreon, wait a couple of days until the first of the month for mine or anybody else's Patreon, because you get charged the day you sign up, and then you get charged again on the first of the month. So you might as well wait until the beginning of the month so that you get a full month's worth rather than being charged twice in a very short space of time. So yes, without further ado, let's go.
Lena, you're back.
Can she look with magic?
Very quiet. Did you find anything else?
I'm a witch.
Honestly, it was kind of a lot to process. So
Tell them, Lena.
Back into Kryptonian witch.
Oh,
A witch.
Which is
memory of one.
suddenly relevant. I love it.
What does a Kryptonian? Isn't her magic really accurate?
Lena is struggling with this.
There must be a scientific logic to it.
You must submit yourself to a test of character.
Oof.
This trial will... The totems are formidable. May you survive your quest.
I love this lady. But can you tell us the whole order? What goes next? I mean, we have a little bit more information, but I wouldn't say we have much more to go on. Is this museum really claiming they have David's slingshot? Like, really?
So long.
I'm starting to see things more clearly
That's good.
and define what it is that I want for myself.
That is very good.
So thank you. I got this.
Okay.
Exactly. Split our resources, and then if one fight needs more help, we can move them
I
across.
tasked.
I will.
What happened to the prize-winning journalist I hired?
What is wrong with
The
William?
one
Is
who
he
went
okay?
undercover. Show for it. Make
Is he okay?
it happen.
Oh yes, he's not okay. Understandably so.
What have you done?
Oh my goodness.
No!
Work exactly.
What the fuck?
Anyone within a close radius when it broke will be given a boost of raw, unfiltered courage.
Oh dear, the scientist, William.
People at the museum have been.
You understand? This will attract the other.
What is this voice?
Unite them.
Good. Okay, good. What was her failure of courage?
I remember this.
Oh.
I didn't go because I was afraid I'd be seen.
Oh. It's understandable. She was a baby superhero, not even a real one.
I'll call the police.
You have failed.
Ooh. Oh lord. Every time how many times is she gonna have to do this? Interesting.
These traitors are in
I
any
love seeing this.
proud son. You've got spine. For a daughter to betray her father like this.
My god.
Unforgivable.
Also, was her test that she should have killed him?
I should have killed you when I had the chance.
No, that's too simple. Not the lizard! Oh, William. Oh, why did it turn into a dragon?
Sweet, another dragon.
Sweet.
Yeah. This one's mine.
Alex, wait!
Kara, you know what's happening. It's the energy.
I admire your concern for your sister, Supergirl. And can I just say how proud I am to have watched you both grow into the strong women you are today.
Mr. Dragon, sir, 2 minutes of your time. Just 2 minutes.
John!
So, you don't really want to hurt these people.
What is it? He's literally talking it down.
That looks like, fire.
Oh my god!
Are you trying to reason with the need to say?
How bad can overly courageous superheroes really be?
Alex, you ran into the dragon's fire.
Alex.
I'm impressed by her initiative.
John!
I'm impressed by all of you. Your inspirations. Each and every one of you. How you handle yourself.
It's giving him the courage to speak his emotions.
I see.
Yeah.
We got this.
These guys.
I'm with you, Kara.
I don't understand. But didn't you say he betrayed you too?
Lord.
He did.
To face your true feelings.
But not nearly as hard as killing the thing you love.
He looks far too excited about this.
Well, at least you two haven't been affected by the totem.
Because she's a witch.
Gotta be something more.
She said she was afraid that she'd be
If I try again and
outed, so does she
it'll
need to
get
be
really
like,
hurt, but
I'm
then
Cara
if I don't
Danvers?
try, you could get the totem.
But then that would be dangerous on everyone that she's ever loved.
You have failed.
Think about what you're really afraid of in that moment. And as long as it doesn't mean in the real world she needs to out herself as Supergirl, I'm okay with it. Because she said she was afraid of being recognised.
Protect herself from the courage totem and help defeat the fifth dimensional imp.
Depends on how powerful the witch and
Interesting.
how far she's willing to go.
Oh,
Do you think the
Lord.
totem has something to do with this?
Supergirl, I know you like to take things all on your own shoulders. This is not your fault.
No, I mean,
Actually, it might be.
Hold that thought.
At the coffee shop, I
John.
overheard two scientists.
is it just standing up to him that is the thing she needs to do? Does she need to just say no?
I trusted you.
Emotional
You
vulnerability?
betrayed me. You destroyed everything.
That's no reason to take it out on the rest of
destroyed
the
me.
world. It's taken an emotional toll, that's for sure.
What happened?
Did it work? It didn't say failure.
Failed.
Oh,
You have performed
shit, yep.
admirably.
Courage to be vulnerable.
Yep. She doesn't like that. We've lost the first totem.
Dr. Beatrice Lahr. She was working on Project Bolt, an attempt to harness the
Alex, is she
lightning
still
energy
feeling the...
until she lost her funding this morning.
It has to be her. You've been affected by the totem.
That's ridiculous.
What's the one thing a Kluin doesn't have the courage to do?
You're wrong in his calculations? Oh. I just...
Plan. Alex,
She's long gone.
where's Alex?
Long gone. Oh lord. Oh, and he's being brave, which...
Tell us how to stop the storm.
Uh-huh.
Ruin my life's work.
Bummer. I feel your frustration.
You can do this.
Lena, release the totem.
We'll win the next battles. Yep.
Be careful.
Don't worry. I got her back. Lena said you needed backup.
Glad you're here, Guardian.
Good, good, good. Yes, Kelly. I love this teamwork. That connected them.
Created a psychic connection between you and Nixley.
I can't.
Well,
find
that's
anything
wonderful.
wrong.
I am going to ask the Super Friends if I can be embedded with them. Thank you for the idea.
No, we can't do this because he will figure out who you all are and you all have to only use weird names and...
You really felt like I could take on a lightning storm.
You did.
Magic totem.
As guardian and with you, as partners on both fronts.
Yeah.
Alex, I love you. You are a part of my life.
This
and I'm
is
a
how
part of
healthy
yours, and
relationships
it's
function.
never
You grow
gonna change.
together.
So you know I went to Newfoundland to learn more about my mother.
This is good. She needs to tell her.
That she's a witch, and apparently so am I.
What? That's. Seriously?
I know, the most sciencey person
This
ever.
is hard for me,
It is quite a weird plot
I'm a
out of nowhere. It really is, but...
But I want to stay connected to her. It could be an asset.
For both
If I can
sides.
sense how Nixley's feeling me.
I don't know what that gauntlet was about, because you are the epitome of courageous.
That is the truest thing ever said.
Are you alright? Is it happening again?
And yet she's hopeful, happy.
That's
Why?
Kara. She's a good
Perhaps
person.
you suffer most because you passed your test.
I won.
Well done.
I will find the rest of the totems.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so I really enjoyed this episode. I think in a lot of ways it was my favourite episode for a little while, maybe even since maybe even since Supergirl came back from his break. And I think that's just because there was a lot of fun, there was also a lot of emotional growth, and there was just so many different layers to this episode. There were just so many different layers to it. Starting off with the totem with everyone acting like courageous, and I adored it. I loved the different, how much thought they put into how each character would be under this courageous thing. You know, you have Alex, who is normally someone that she always has a plan, she's very careful because she wants to stay safe and keep those around her safe, suddenly just charging in at the first sign of things. John, who feels things so deeply and strongly, but is also someone that maybe doesn't necessarily always say what he's feeling, just stopping to be a therapist to everybody he meets. Nia finding a deeper and deeper dream level because that's something that she's struggled with, but now she'll just jump head first. Brainy just not even bothering to work it out, being okay with being wrong. It was so much fun. And like Kara's face throughout, which is hilarious. And then we have the trials they had to face. And I think what would be a really interesting concept would be if along the way the different trials they come up against, because I assume there'll be similar trials for each of the other totems, would be if Nixley were to evolve as a person through them. Like maybe the goal of the totems is that at the end, if you do manage to get all of them, you've realised that, I don't know, you've realised kind of your weaknesses, and you've realised that maybe the path of vengeance that you want isn't the right one or whatever. I feel like with Nixley it's probably just going to keep validating her opinions, but she did show a lot of emotional strength there with admitting how she felt to her brother. That is the hardest thing to do, you know, in that moment your instinct is to act like this doesn't hurt you, act like you're tough, act like it doesn't bother you, which doesn't make you actually tough. So I think for Nixley's sake, that was a really big moment when she was actually able to sort of, he wasn't really there, tell her brother how she felt. And I think if she were to go home and that were to be the kind of homecoming she had, I would be okay with that. I also find, like, if all she wanted to do was get the totems and go home, I would be more on her side. I mean, again, I would be like, maybe go home and like peacefully take over. But the fact that she's decided Kara is her enemy too, even though she literally tried to leave Kara's father to die. So, you know, like, she messed up too in that little brief friendship they had. And then for Kara's totem, and I think the thing she said was that she didn't go to help the person she heard calling for help because she was scared she'd be recognised, because she was just dressed as Kara Danvers. Now I think, to me, that line really stood out, you know, because she didn't say, I didn't go and save him because I was scared I would do it wrong, or because I was scared that I might get hurt, or that, I mean, she would be scared of that. I would be scared that I would, you know, accidentally use too much force and hurt the bad guy. She said that she didn't do it. Sorry, I dropped something. She didn't do it because she was scared that she would be recognised. Which makes me feel like to pass her test, she would have had to have courage to say, I've just saved this plane and I am Kara Danvers. Which, within the confines of a fictional test, would work for me. Within the confines of real life, there are so many reasons why you don't come out of saying that. And, you know, maybe, I think I wouldn't want Kara to ever actually do that in real life just because a totem told her to. I'd want it to be something that she came to by herself. You know, we've had Oliver Queen coming out as being the Arrow, but I think there are potential repercussions on those she cares about, on her friends and family. Bad guys, often the bad guys end up learning about where she lives and who she is, but every single bad guy would know where Supergirl lived, and it's not safe. It's not safe on her or those around her, from her vague acquaintances to her friends and family. So I don't think it's just the lack of courage, her not revealing who she was. Things would have gone extraordinarily differently had Kara revealed who she was at the very, very beginning of everything. When she first became Supergirl, if she'd just become Kara Danvers, the superhero. But I also think it's not so much a lack of courage that is not doing that. So maybe I'm totally wrong with why she failed the Gauntlet. If you have any other theories, do tell me. That's just the one I kind of picked up on from what she said and how she phrased things. I don't think it is just the lack of courage, because there are valid reasons why she hasn't done it. You know, I feel like just the lack of courage would be if there were no valid reasons as to why she hadn't done it. Nia? I hope that this little brief bit of courage is going to help her figure out her dreams going forwards. The witch was weird. I still am someone that thinks them suddenly being like, Lena's a witch with like 10 episodes to go is a really weird plotline. I'm actually quite enjoying how they're handling it, so maybe by the end of the season I will be okay with them having it as a plotline, but I do feel a little like it came out of nowhere. I would have liked if throughout the show, since Lena came into it in season 2, if there had been moments where there were little magic-y things that happened around her. And if there have been moments like that, please let me know if I've missed them. Because it did feel a bit like just suddenly out of nowhere they decided Lena was a witch. It genuinely made me wonder, are they planning a new show about witches in which Lena is the lead character? Because it just came out of nowhere in that sense. But for Lena, I think she's such an interesting character to give this to, because I am firmly of the belief that anything in the real world that people refer to as magic is just science we don't understand yet. I know that was a Jem Simmons quote, brilliant quote. Obviously Supergirl is in a world where you have aliens with superpowers and fifth dimensional imps with magic, and yes, there probably, if you had supreme knowledge, there would be scientific things that you could, like, it's the fact that they can track the magic. I feel like magic and science are sort of different words for each other in a really, like, being like in a really kind of broad sense. But Lena is such an analytical scientist that for her to kind of come to terms with magic, it's so different to everything else she's ever had. But in a way, her having magic has just as much of a scientific way of explanation than Kara being charged by the sun and given powers. It is a similar side of things. I'm very glad she did eventually tell Kara about it, because no one should ever go anything alone. And something that is that world-shattering or world-altering, you should never go through alone. You should always go through with your friends. Very glad she didn't know she had magic last season, because my god, the world would be brainwashed right now. But I am just intrigued about where it's going to go. Like I said, I think it's kind of a weird plotline to bring in with such little time left in the show. But given that we're fighting a villain who uses magic, I feel like having a good guy using magic will also come in handy. We've got the rest of the totems. We lost this one. I feel like we're going to have to make sure we win the next one. The trials are extremely different. You know, Kara has never lacked courage in being emotionally vulnerable in the way Nixley has. You know, she's just the most courageous person in every single sense of the word. You know, one of the times where you could say she lacked the most courage was for a while there. Like, she realised she could trust Lena with the secret a little while before she told Lena the secret, but at the end of the day, she told her the secret. She admitted that scene was so courageous. I feel like Nixley can't relate. She's just nowhere near as good as Kara. Kara is everything. The one thing she hasn't done that I can think of is tell everyone who she is, but there are valid reasons for that. It's not simply fear. But this was a very, very good episode. It was a fun episode. It was a deep episode, and I'm so excited to see where they go next and which totem is next. I kind of wish they'd asked the witch before she vanished, can you give us a list of the totems? But yeah, the concept of that being David's slingshot is still hilarious, but I suppose it's simply being an item that people think is David's slingshot was enough. But yeah, this was a really, really good episode. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, but I would wait until the beginning of the month if you're going to do that, and thank you so much for watching.